Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host and host Suhail Mathur, and I welcome you to a brand new episode of Superstars with Suhail, where the questions will be sharp and the responses hopefully sharper. And today, the superstar on our show is a man of varied talents. He's been a top shot corporate honcho working with the biggest of MNCs. He's a masterful storyteller of short stories, and now he's also a best-selling author of non-fiction true crime. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is my immense pleasure to introduce you to the very endearing Mr. Divyaroop Bhatnagar. Divyaroop sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sohail.
So it's a pleasure to have you on our show, and I'll just tell you very quickly what our show is about. So our show will have 13 segments, and you just have to keep three things in mind. Number one, you have to be quick and fast. Number two, you have to be frank and honest. And number three, whatever comes your way, you just do not have to be shocked or surprised by it. So with those three things firmly in place, let's begin with segment one, which is called Pehli Pehli Baar Hai. So Divyaroop sir, in segment one, Pehli Pehli Baar Hai, we chronicle the firsts of our authors, and you have to tell us about a few of your firsts and also give us a little background to it so that the audience can know a little more about it. So without further ado, here are the 5 firsts. And the first is your first crush.
My first crush was a dog.
It was a dog. And what was the dog's name and when was this?
So the dog's name was Mickey, and this dog was actually owned by my uncle. Right. And I wish that it was mine, so hence I had a huge crush on this dog.
And how old were you when this happened?
I was about 10 years old.
10 years old, alright. Your first salary and how did you spend it?
My first salary was the meager amount of 700 rupees, which I actually got from my first job. And I went and drank a bit of beer.
That's wonderful. So which year was this?
This was in 1976.
Oh, so 700 rupees would have been a decent amount, as a starting salary.
It was reasonable, but not that great even then.
Yeah, I mean, enough to buy a lot of beers.
Enough to buy a lot of beer. Yes.
Absolutely. Alright, your first vehicle.
My first vehicle was a Standard Herald, which my mother gave me when I started working. Wonderful. So this was an old car, and it used to go all over the place, and I used to love it.
That's wonderful. So when I also joined college, I was given a car as well, which was a Santro, to drive to my college. So I can associate with it because my parents also did the same. So wonderful to know. Now, very interestingly, you've got a great literary career, but my question to you is your first literary memory.
My first literary memory was actually writing something for a school magazine.
All right.
And I think this was probably when I was around 12 years old or thereabouts.
Okay.
And it was a small article which had actually been published, or which was there in the school magazine at that point in time. So that's my first memory.
12. So you would have been in the 6th standard back then.
Yeah, I suppose around that time. Yeah.
All right. So which year are we talking about? Obviously, not trying to gauge your age. But just
no, I can tell you my age precisely. This was in the year of our Lord 1967.
1967, wonderful. So a long time, but yeah, it's good that you still remember it. And you've done several books. So the question to you is, how did the idea of your first book with the book bakers germinate? So it's a very interesting story, and I'd want everyone to know about it, about the Mussoorie murders. How did that come about?
Yeah, this is a very interesting story, and actually this is a story where a lot of the credit goes to Suhail. So we were actually having, I think it was coffee or something, a little before COVID, in a mall in Noida.
That's correct.
And that's the time when we were discussing, what is the sort of thing which I could possibly be writing next. And Suhail said that, look, at this point in time, true crime is something which is the public really likes that kind of thing. And the other thing which he said was that, look, you are obviously very fond of Mussoorie. So is there something which happened in Mussoorie which was a crime, which could form the basis of this story? And based on that, I remember recounting to him this entire murder which had taken place in the early part of the 20th century. And he said, look, that sounds like a great thing to write about. And that's how the whole idea germinated. And I
Absolutely.
then started writing this book.
No, I think that cup of coffee was much more worth than any of Coffee with Karan's episodes, and it was wonderful. And are you having tea or coffee on that note?
Right now, I'm having tea.
Yeah, having
It's
tea.
not.
All right, which is why we are not discussing ideas. When we have to discuss ideas, always drink coffee. So that's the moral of the lesson. And what I'd also like to say is the nonchalance with which Divyaroop sir told me that story was absolutely fantastic. The book, The Mussoorie Murders, has some fascinating characters in it, and the way he narrated it. So first he told me that there was someone who got to know about this locked door murder mystery, and that certain person who was very inquisitive about all of it was a gentleman called Rudyard Kipling. So I was like, oh wow, Rudyard Kipling. He said, yeah. So he called up one of his friends in UK and said that there is this case. Would you like to solve it, because you have a penchant for writing such kind of works? And that gentleman said that, look, I'm pretty old, so it'll be very difficult for me to come to India. And that gentleman happened to be Arthur Conan Doyle. And I was like, wow, Arthur Conan Doyle is also in that story. Wow. And he said that, yeah, so then Conan Doyle said that, look, I can't come, but there's this girl who comes to me for some advice and notes. Maybe she can, look into it. And that lady was Agatha Christie. So I was like completely bowled over. I said that, wow, there are these three literary superstars in this one story which originated in India, and how can we possibly not have a book around that? So I think that was a fruitful conversation that we had, in which reminds me that this has very quickly brought us to the end of our first segment, and you did very well over there. And that brings us to segment 2, which is called the Rocking Rapid Fire. So now in the Rocking Rapid Fire, I'm going to ask you 10 questions and you have to respond very quickly. So without further ado, here we go. A movie you saw on the sly from your parents.
James Bond's Dr. No.
James Bond's Dr. No, wonderful. An Indian female author or someone from the literary fraternity you find pretty.
Now that's a difficult one. There are too many of them to actually talk
Anyone,
about.
I mean it's a compliment, so anyone you find pretty.
So it's a compliment. I think Rashima Verma is very pretty.
All right.
So is Anjali Turpalani.
Right.
A lot of them. Yes.
So basically, Sir is surrounded by pretty women because all three of them stay in Gurgaon. So wonderful. All right, sir. Very interestingly, commercial success or critical acclaim?
Critical acclaim, without doubt.
Book launches or lit fest?
I think book launches because they're more personal.
All right. Who's hotter, a girl in a sari or a girl in a bikini?
Well, depends on the occasion.
But one, as of now, if you were to answer today,
And certainly a girl in a bikini.
girl in a bikini. I like your frankness. So I was hoping that somebody says that someday. So I'm very happy that you've mentioned it. The only other person who would respond that way would have probably been Charles Sobraj. But okay, so the next one is an Indian actor you would like to date.
Tabu.
Tabu. All right, very nice. Naughty or nice?
Nicely naughty.
Nicely naughty. All right. So basically, when you're having coffee, you say no tea. Otherwise, it's always naughty. But okay, movies or web series? Because your own book is also going to be adapted. I just want to know, movies or web series?
I think I like web series.
You like web series? All right, perfect. An Indian book you wish you had written?
An Indian book which I wish I had written. Oh, that's a difficult one, actually. Okay, I'll tell you. I'm a great fan of Shivani, the Indian writer, the Hindi writer.
Okay.
You would have heard of her. And her book, the first book called Chaudha Phere, it's in Hindi,
All
is
right.
something which I wish I'd written. I tried actually translating a bit of it, and
Okay.
I found it absolutely spectacular.
All right. So has that book ever been translated into English?
No, it hasn't.
And how long back was this written approximately? Been a
This
while?
it would have been written, if I'm not mistaken, something like about 40 odd years ago.
40 odd years. Okay, so we'll probably check whether it's in copyright or not. If it's not, then we have a translation on our hands. I'll definitely follow up with you on that. So now the last question is mind, body, or soul. The aspect that impresses you the most.
Mind.
Mind. Wonderful. So some very honest, frank answers coming over there, and just like that, we've finished segment 2, and we come to a very fun segment called segment 3, which is Pucho to Jane. Now, in Pucho to Jane, Divyaroop sir, what has happened is that there is an author from the Book Bakers who has asked you a question. All right?
Sure.
I will be asking you that question, and you have to tell me who has asked it. So first you obviously have to answer the question, and then you have to tell me who's asked it. I'll be giving you 3 options, and this round has a 3 idiots connotation to it. So if you're able to respond correctly in the first go, you are like Rancho, Amir Khan, the topper of the class. If you answer in the second go, you are like Farhan, played by Madhavan, somewhere in the middle. And well, if you answer at the end or are unable to, then you are like Raju, played by
Raju
Sharman
Rastogi.
Joshi. Yes,
Yes.
at the bottom of the barrel. So the question is very interesting, and since we have so many authors, residing in Gurgaon, this could actually be a realistic scenario. So the question that has been asked to you is, now two of your author friends rather, have book launches on the same day, at the same time, but at the opposite ends of the town. What do you do, and how do you ensure your friend doesn't feel bad if you go to the other book launch?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good question.
Well, the first thing I would probably do is to go to neither, but that's a cop out. So that's a cop out. But having said that, I would probably go to whichever one I would find more interesting, and tell the other person that, frankly enough, that I'm sorry, but I just couldn't make it, and I just found the subject of this particular book to be very interesting, so
Very
I wanted to.
Perfect. Yes, and you can always say that, but no worries, I'll still buy your book from Amazon.
Exactly.
All right. So that's a very frank answer, much like all your answers. So now here's the question, part B. Who has asked you this? So there are 3 options. Has this been asked to you by Bhaswar Mukherjee? Has this been asked to you by Aruna Dheer? Or has this been asked to you by Anjali Kriplani?
Anjali Kriplani.
Anjali Kriplani, well, I know, sir, Anjali Kriplani has made her presence felt, in this interview already, but she goes on to make her presence felt in an even stronger manner, because congratulations, it was indeed Anjali. So you are the Rancho of the class, the topper. Well done for not only giving the right answer, but also guessing who asked it. So Sarah, that is another one which goes your way, and that brings me to segment 4, which is also a very fun segment called Best and the Worst. So in Best and the Worst, I'm going to ask you a few of your favorite things and a few of the things that you totally detest. So, your favorite dish?
Oh yeah, mutton curry.
Mutton curry. All right. The yuckiest dish you've ever had?
The yuckiest dish I ever had. Well, there would be some kind of. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. I remember once we were in Europe somewhere,
All right.
and we had this. There was this thing made out of potatoes. It was completely tasteless. I've forgotten the name. It was a Polish dish, and I didn't like it at all.
Okay, as long as they didn't put polish on the dish, it's okay. But all right. So the next one is your favorite film.
The favorite film, I must say, is Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. Nice. That's a great choice. The worst movie you've ever seen.
The worst movie I have ever seen. No, that's a difficult one. I really don't know.
You're spoiled for choice over there.
I am spoiled for choice. I am just beginning to wonder.
Okay, anyone that's coming to your mind.
I don't know. I can't remember this. I'm sorry, I can't remember any one of these.
All right. Okay. So next one, your favorite actor.
Right now, Ranveer Singh.
Ranveer Singh. All right. The best movie and the worst movie of your favorite actor.
The best movie of my favorite actor. I liked quite a few of them. Rocky or Rani was one that was pretty good. Then I can't remember again. I don't remember names too well.
Okay, the worst one, the one that you didn't enjoy at all.
I can't say actually, Suhail. I mean, I'm not a great Bollywood guy, so I can't figure this out.
All right, fair enough. But thankfully for Ranveer Singh, sir is unable to tell his worst movie, so he'll be pretty happy. So okay, your favorite song?
Many of them, but for example, Jaane Man Tere Dil Nayan. It's a lovely song.
That's a very nice song. Very sweet, very nice.
Yeah,
yes.
Very sweet song. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, one hit or popular song that you didn't like or don't like. It could be from any era.
That's another difficult one, which I didn't like.
So basically, you can make out that sir is a very nice person. He always has favorites, but as far as the worst or the yuckiest or the least favorite is concerned, that's so. I think
I must confess that I don't have very strong views on this, so I really wouldn't know for sure.
You should definitely be a book reviewer. I think all authors will love you. So
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on to the next one. Your least favorite actor.
You know this guy, I forget his name, but he's I think maybe Sharman Joshi, the guy who did Raju Rastogi, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so this time around, Rancho and Raju don't share a vibe. So, alright, Sharman Joshi is your least favorite actor, and the worst movie of your least favorite actor. So, Sharman Joshi's worst movie, in case you remember.
No, again, I don't remember. That movie is not my strong suit. So
Alright, that I've got. Alright, so the last question, and इसका जवाब सर आपको बेस्ट और वर्स्ट देना ही पड़ेगा, ठीक है?
बताइए.
Best thing about your spouse.
Oh, she's the sharpest person I know in terms of her intellect and her thinking. That is by far the best.
Wonderful. So, a thing you would want to improve in your spouse.
Well, she can be a little, if you like, a little. She sort of pursues things a little too far at times, maybe.
Okay. Alright, fair enough. So at least we got a response over there. Well done, sir. Well done. So we finally got a response at the last question of that segment. And thereafter we move to segment 5, which is called Dimag Ka Dahi. So sir, in Dimag Ka Dahi, I'm going to ask you a brain teaser. And if you're able to respond to it, great. And if I'm in the mood, maybe I ask you another one. Let's see how it pans out. So, very simple one for you coming your way. Eskimos are extremely skilled hunters, yet they never kill penguins. Why?
Because there are no penguins in the North Pole.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the right answer because both of them are found on different poles and they're literally poles apart as they
That's
say.
right.
So that is right.
I got
Yes.
that.
So well done. That's another good answer. And okay. So I'll ask you one more. I'm wondering which one I should ask, but let me ask this one. Might work better. So a plane crashed on the India-Pakistan border. On which side of the border would you bury the survivors?
Would bury the survivors. A plane crashed on the India-Pakistan border. And on which side you would bury the... Well, if you had to bury them, they would presumably be Muslims. And if they were Muslims, then there were chances are that they would be from Pakistan, so you would bury them in Pakistan, I suppose.
That is a very logical response. I do appreciate it, but the answer is that, sir, you don't bury the survivors.
Yeah, I know. I got that as soon as you sort of started talking that. Yeah,
So yes, so you don't bury the survivors. So okay, interesting. I like the response to it. I like the response to it though. So a fun round, which brings me to segment number 6. Never have I ever. So sir, in Never Have I Ever, you know the drill, but we do it slightly differently over here. So what I would request you to do is that you need to show us your 10 fingers like this. I'll ask you 10 questions. With everything that you have done, you put a finger down. If you've not done it, you let me know and I will move to the next question. Right? So अब एक बार आप कैमरे को दिखा दीजिए थोड़ा सा पीछे. हाँ, now we can see your 10 fingers. So okay, very quickly, never have I ever stolen in a shop.
Never have I ever stolen in a shop. Answer is yes.
Okay, so you put a finger down.
Down.
Okay. Beaten someone from the opposite gender.
Down.
Okay. Kissed someone from the same gender.
Down.
Okay, wonderful.
Wait a minute. That's not true. I have kissed somebody from the same gender.
You have.
Yes.
हाँ तो फिंगर नीचे कर दीजिए ना. हाँ.
हाँ तो फिंगर. नहीं तो ये उल्टा हो रहा है फिर ये.
नहीं तो 3 चीजें आपने की. जो आप कर रहे हैं वो आप नीचे करते रहिए. वो हम एंड में देखेंगे कितनी फिंगर्स बची हैं. ठीक है. चलिए. Made an excuse to not pay the restaurant bill.
No, I've never done that.
Okay. Stalked the profile of an ex.
Never done that.
Okay. Got drunk at a party. Okay.
Yes.
Had naughty thoughts about an office colleague.
Yes.
Kissed in public.
Yes.
Okay. Used a pickup line to impress someone.
Yes.
Okay. Lied about your actual location to someone.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 2 fingers still standing, which is 8 on 10. Wonderful, Divyaroop sir, you've done some really interesting things in life. 8 on 10 is really good. And I
it's
like
a long life, well. In this long life, one does various things.
various things. Absolutely, I think that's the advantage of bringing a personality such as you on the show, because you'd have so many varied experiences, and that's absolutely fantastic. So now we come to segment 7, which is my favorite segment, which is called Main Hoon Kaun. So in segment 7, Main Hoon Kaun, I would be asking you questions about a personality, and I'll be giving you 3 clues about a personality. If you're able to respond and guess who the personality is in the first or the second clue, right, then you may get a bonus or some sort of an advantage in one of the later rounds. However, if you give a wrong answer in the first or the second clue, you can also receive a disadvantage, right?
Yeah.
When we are on the third clue, you can take as many chances, or you can respond. There'll be no benefits, but there'll be no disadvantages either, right? So to guess the personality, basically. So here is the first clue. Bundi in Rajasthan is considered to be the inspiration of one of my novels, the title of which is also the name of one of the actresses who starred in Aditya Chopra's Mohabbatein. And if you don't know, you can ask me for the next clue. Bundi in Rajasthan. Okay. Deena Sanichar. Deena Sanichar was the person on whom I based one of my life's biggest literary successes on. Deena Sanichar.
No idea. Next
Okay.
clue.
Okay, the last one is born in Bombay, the campus of JJ School of Arts is believed to have been my birthplace. You can take a wild guess. There'll be no negatives over here.
I have absolutely no clue what we are talking about. I told you I'm zero on films. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, but the thing is that it's not related to films. So the answer is
Who is this person? Yeah.
okay. The answer is someone who makes a very prominent appearance in your book. It's Rudyard Kipling. So the answer is Rudyard Kipling. So Bundi in Rajasthan is the inspiration behind his novel Kim, and Kim Sharma starred in Mohammed.
Yeah.
Deena Sanichar is actually the person on whom the character of Mowgli was based on.
Based on, yeah.
Right, and of course he was born in Bombay. So some interesting things over there. So that's Rudyard Kipling. And with that we come to our next round, which is segment 8. Picture abhi baki hai mere dost. So sir, in Picture abhi baki hai mere dost, what we are going to ask you is that, you know, of course your book is going to turn into a visual adaptation. Now what I'd like to ask you is that if it does turn into a visual adaptation very soon, who would you like to cast, you know, for the role? So who would you like to cast, and we'll keep it possibly to the Indian cast. Who would you like to cast for the role of the detective and Avijit? And who would you like to cast in the role of, you know, the lady who meets an unfortunate end in the 60s? And who would you cast as a husband? So these three. Who would you cast as the couple? And who would you cast as the detective, who's the protagonist?
No, I mean, I would say that somebody like, for this lady, it could be somebody like Deepika Padukone.
All right.
Who could be the lady who's killed. Her husband could be her husband, Ranveer. It's possible. And if you were to look at the detective, you're looking at an older guy, and he's somebody like maybe, you know, I think it could be Amitabh Bachchan, but perhaps he's a little too senior for this role. So I think you might need somebody who's a little younger. Maybe somebody like, for example, say Akshay Kumar or somebody
Akshay
like
Kumar
that.
playing Avijit. So it's a great cast. It's a good cast. But that's how it is. That is how, when it is left to you. In our world, things happen slightly differently. So what we've done is that we've created these two bowls. Now one has the names of actors, the other has the names of actresses, right? So what I'd be doing, sir, now is that I'd be, you know, swirling these bowls, and you have to ask me to stop. When you ask me to stop, I'll pick out 3 chits randomly, and from those 3 chits you have to tell me which one would you want, 1, 2 or 3. Whichever chit is taken out for that particular character becomes the actor who would play that role. Alright, so here is the list of the heroes or the male actors.
Right.
So first
Right.
let's do it for Avijit, right? And I'm swirling, so whenever you want me to stop, you let me know.
Stop.
So let me take out 3 chits. That's 1.
Interesting.
That is 2. And okay. That is 3. So we have
Right.
1, 2, 3. Which number would you like to keep?
Let's take number 2.
Let's keep number 2. Okay. So we keep 2, and these 2 go back. Now let's also choose for the husband, and then we'll see what the reveal is finally. Even I don't know at this point. Okay.
Stop.
So we take out 3. That's 1. That is 2. And that is 3. So 1, 2, 3.
Great.
Which one?
1.
1. Okay. So we have 1 over there. And now we move to the ladies. So which one? When do I stop?
Stop. Stop.
Okay, I stopped here. And okay. So there are 2, 3 together. Okay, that's 1. Yeah, that's 1. This is 2, and then this is 3. So 1, 2, 3. Which one?
So let's give 3 a chance.
Let's give 3 a chance. Okay. So now our cast is with us. Let's see what the cast is. Okay, interesting. Oh, interesting. Oh, sir, I think you've pulled off a coup. I don't think in the history of this show somebody has got such a brilliant star cast. It's unimaginable how, Destiny has, worked its magic. And I must tell you, so the role of the detective Avjit Sikdar would be played by the extremely dashing Kamal Rashid Khan. Okay, KRK.
Wow.
KRK. Alright.
Okay.
The role of the husband would be played by the equally dashing and macho Rajpal Yadav.
Right.
And
Right.
finally the lady, her role would be played by Rakhi Sawant. So
Oh, wow.
what a cast!
This
I
is-
mean, sir, there were
this
so
is a
many options. I
cast.
was actually hoping that Deepika comes because she was in one of the, broad options there. But what a cast! I think unbeatable. Nobody else has gotten, a better star cast than this. This is bound to be a super hit blockbuster. It'll break all records of Pathan and Animal and Tigers in the air and everything that comes their way. So wonderful.
Absolutely.
Everyone love to see this movie. So okay, now we come to segment 9. Very quickly then, it's called What Would You Do? So in What Would You Do, I'll present you with 10 choices, and then as the name suggests, you have to tell what would you do if you woke up as Bobby Darling.
As?
Bobby Darling.
Who's Bobby Darling?
Bobby Darling is a transgender actor.
Well, I'll go to work and report for whatever movie he's doing.
All right. If he is. All right. Okay. If Urfi Javed was your fashion designer.
Oh my God! I'd probably run away somewhere.
Okay. If you became the PM for a day.
Well, I would. I really wouldn't know what to do if it was just a day. But I mean, no, not really, Suhail. I have no clue about this one.
Okay, fair enough. So, if Arjun Kapoor approached you to act as you in your biopic.
Yeah, sure. Love it.
All right. If you had the power of invisibility, what would you do?
So I would be a fly on the wall and listen to the conversations of all the people whom I don't like.
Okay, fair enough. If your cell phone fell into the toilet.
I would try to dry it out, but I'd rather than I think I'd simply throw it away.
You throw it away. All right. If God came in front of you.
I say you made a real mess of what you've been up to.
Okay. If you were swimming and somebody stole your clothes.
Oh, that's easy. I'll just walk out of the pool.
Okay, that's a very cool attitude to have. Okay, so if you found yourself inside the big boss house.
Look for the nearest exit.
All right, and the last one, if someone changed your gender.
Try and find somebody as attractive as myself.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. So some fun answers coming over there. The best one was that you didn't know what would you do if you were the PM. Okay, fair enough. So it was at least honest. So now we come to segment 10, which is called What Next? So, Divyaroop sir, very quickly, and what next? You have to tell the readers what can we expect next from you in terms of the next book. So what is it about? Just give a 30-second idea about it to the readers.
Okay, so great. Right now I'm working on the next Avijit Sikdar mystery, and this particular one is actually set in Goa in Portuguese times, and it's also got a segment in Pune, so the locale is different.
Wonderful.
And I find the Portuguese Goa part of it really very fascinating, because it was like a little piece of Europe which was stuck in India at that point in time. So yeah,
super. So for all lovers of Avijit Sikdar, there is another Kamal Rashid Khan mystery coming your way. So that is something that's coming. There's also another book that he's doing, which is a short story collection, but we'll reveal more on that on social media. Alright, sir. So very quickly, we have 4 minutes to go. So we have 3 segments left. Segment 11 is joke time. So in joke time, you have to either tell us a joke or you have to recount a hilarious anecdote. Very quickly.
Oh, I'm very bad at telling jokes. I have really no idea about
any anecdote, any fun anecdote, funny anecdote.
I've dried out completely, so well, I'm not.
Any. अच्छा एक कुछ तो होगा, कुछ तो funny होगा.
नहीं कुछ completely.
Some heartwarming memory, some funny memory.
No, not really. I can't recall anything at this point in time.
Oh, no. That's a dampener. Okay, but I was really looking forward to it. But all right, so we move on to what that does is that gives us time to finish this on time. So, penultimate segment, Zaban Sambhal Ke. So, sir, in Zaban Sambhal Ke, I'll be asking you a tongue twister. All right, and here is where the advantage or the disadvantage could have come, but since you played it safe, you do have the option. I have 6 tongue twisters with me. You have to say any one of them 10 times. Please feel free to choose from 1 to 6. Whichever you choose, I'll tell you what it is. I'll be honest. What number do you want from 1 to 6? 5. Okay. So number 5 is नदी किनारे है किराने की दुकान. नदी किनारे है किराने की दुकान.
नदी किनारे है किराने की दुकान. नदी किनारे है किराने की दुकान. नदी किनारे है किराने की दुकान. नदी किनारे है किराने की दुकान. नदी किनारे है किनारे.
थोड़ा फास्ट है. चलिए, किराने की दुकान बहुत फास्ट तो नहीं थी, लेकिन किनारे में जरूर थी. सो सर थॉट दैट मैं उस किराने की दुकान से कुछ खा ही लेता हूँ. ये इतना कौन बोलेगा, but we loved the spirit with which you did that, and applause for trying that out. It's very funny. Brings me to the last segment very quickly then, which is called TBB shout out. So sir, in TBB shout out, you need to tell our viewers, how has your experience been working with the Book Bakers, and what do you make out of our show Superstars with Suhail?
So I have had a really excellent interaction with Suhail Mathur and with the Book Bakers. I mean, as I told you earlier during the show, I think he was responsible for actually coming up with the idea of this book which I wrote, which I think is probably one of the most valuable contributions. Other than that, the Mussoorie Murders has had some issues as we went along in terms of the way that this book was actually handled, and there were some legal issues.
Yeah.
And he got, not one but 2 publishers, and that was really remarkable. He's done a wonderful job of the cover designs. He's done a superb job of actually getting the trailers made and all the rest of it. So I think in general, I would strongly believe that this is one of the finest relationships that I've gotten to.
That is so heartening to know, sir. Thank you so much, and the feeling is absolutely mutual. अब जल्दी से 10 seconds के अंदर, what do you make out of our show Superstars with Suhail?
It's a good show. I think you need a better audience or rather a better guy to actually be on it than the one which you started with.
No, no, absolutely. It was very fun, and it was a lot of fun. I think your responses were very honest. I loved them, and as I said, you have more positivity to give out than negativity, which is such a wonderful quality. So thank you so much for being a part of it. I truly loved it, ladies and gentlemen. This brings us to a close of a fabulous episode of Superstars with Suhail. I'll be back with you very soon on another brand new episode.